I'm sure you are aware or heard of the Mayan calendar and its 2012 prediction for the end of the calendar, which some say is a marker which indicates the end of the world. For reference purposes, let's briefly examine the Mayan calendar and its date of 2012. The Mayan calendar has a length of 5,125 years. Okay, the Mayan calendar began, or the calendar was set to begin on August 11, 3114 BC, and the calendar's final date ends on December 21st, 2012. The most important thing about the calendar is the year 2012. Now, the Mayan broke the calendar up in terms of prophetic reasonings. When they were dealing with prophecies, they broke their calendar up into 20 cycles of 13. What I mean is they broke their calendar up into 20 different periods they broke their calendar 20 cycles of 13 periods. Now the periods are known as a canton, and each canton is about 20 years or 19.7 years. So and just bear with me, we're not going to deal with the subject long, so don't get bored or put off or stop playing the video. Just hear me out, because I'm going to be done with this very quickly. Each cycle has 13 periods, and each period is like 20 years or 19.7 years. So that means that one cycle of the Mayan calendar is 256 years, or 13 times 19.7 years. You understand? Okay, so let me say this again. One cycle of the Mayan calendar is 256 years, which means that the Mayan calendar has 20 cycles. Okay, now today we are living in the last cycle of the Mayan calendar. Okay, and walk with me again. Not only are we living in the last cycle of the Mayan calendar, we are living in the last period of the last cycle of the Mayan calendar. Okay, so let me continue. Now, when did this last prophetic cycle or period of the Mayan calendar begin, since we know that it's a period of 256 years? Ironically, the last period of the last cycle of the Mayan calendar began in the year 1776. Of course, you know 1776 is the year that America declared its independence from Great Britain. Okay, well, let's examine this a little bit closer. Let's look at the Great Seal of America that appears on every $1 bill. Okay, here we go. Looking at the dollar bill, we see a pyramid. Okay, and this pyramid, if you examine it closely, has 13 levels, and at the base of the pyramid you see Roman numerals. Okay, and these Roman numerals indicates the year of America. It's 1776. You see M, D, C, C, L, X, X, V, I. Okay, but anyway, just trust me that at the base of this pyramid on the back of the dollar is the year, or the number 1776. Now, you notice at the bottom of the pyramid is the year 1776. Now remember, I told you that the Mayan calendar each cycle has 13 periods. Well, this pyramid on the back of the dollar bill has 13 levels, and it starts at 1776. And I also told you that each 13-year period in the cycle is 20 years. Now, looking at the figure here, if you count the 13 cycles, or 13 periods within a cycle, we see at the base of the pyramid is the year 1776, and at the top level of the pyramid would be the year 2012. Going a bit further, you notice that it's called the Great Seal of America. The word seal is synonymous with the word conclude or end. Now, That's so, when you say that something is sealed, the matter is sealed, that means something is concluded, or that's the end of it. I'll give you an example. Stevie Wonder made a song, said that was signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. I cannot sing. Please don't laugh at me. The point I'm making is this: when the song says signed, sealed, and delivered, that meant that that's it. Of course, in the song he's talking about, there's no question about it. I love you and I belong to you. Signed, sealed, and delivered. The point I'm making is the word seal indicates conclusion or end. With that in mind, one can interpret that the Great Seal of America, and its base at 1776 and at its height at 2012, this would represent the end of America, which would occur in 2012. Okay, now when we look at the pyramid on the Great Seal of America, we see an eye, or a eye raised above the pyramid. We see, okay, so if we go back and review briefly, that the beginning of America is 1776, and looking at it from the Mayan perspective, the end of America is 2012, and above that we see an illuminated eye above the pyramid. What is this? Well, this eye that is above the pyramid is known as the eye of providence, or the all-seeing eye of God. Now, what I'm telling you is that this symbol that you're looking at, the divine eye of God, making its appearance above the year 2012 as indicated in this seal, this represents the divine judgment of God, which will begin in the year 2012. Notice that the capstone is elevated above 2012. Well, this is the period or time that God, or Christ, the crusher, will come to judge. What is the duration of this period? Well, following the prophetic cycle and logical orders of the symbol, and the indication that the Mayan gave us, that each period is 20 years, then the divine judgment is a period of 20 years. So we see from here that this entire symbol tells us that the divine judgment of God will occur between the years 2012 and the years 2032. Let's look for further witness concerning this eye above the pyramid. Okay. Now let's have a look at this all-seeing eye of this period judgment from the world of Islam, or the religious world of Islam. Elijah Muhammad, in his Lost Found lesson number 2, he, in his answer to question number 37 of that lesson, stated, Allah, or God, is the God in the earth and in the heavens above, and is just and true, and there is no unrighteousness in him, but it is not unseen. He is seen and is heard everywhere, for he is the all-seeing eye. Okay, now here we find from Islam, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he refers to God as the all-seeing eye. So this is in agreement with the American seal, when the founding fathers who placed, or who put the great seal, designed the great seal, they put a single eye above the pyramid and called it the eye of providence, or the all-seeing eye of God. And we also see from the world of Islam that the Muslims refer to Allah as the all-seeing eye. Now, in keeping with this particular subject matter, let's obtain further witness concerning this period as indicated between the years 2012 and 2032. In chapter 15 of the book called Our Savior Has Arrived, we are told this, quote, "The days of Allah, God, means years of Allah, or God, and not a 24-hour day. It means years. These days or years of judgment, according to the Bible and Quran, will not run over 20 years. And according to the scientists of Islam and the teachings of the Holy Quran, which are to be understood, the judgment is to take place between 1380 and 1400 years after the death of Muhammad, the son of Abdullah. And according to the scholars and scientists of Christianity, they have it just about right too. The time that they say the judgment will come is based on 2,000 years after the death of Jesus. This is right. And in the Bible, the books of Daniel and Revelation, the time is given if understood. Well, we already shown you in the books of Daniel and Revelation that the year the year of Christ's return, or the year of the beginning of judgment, is 2012. We already reviewed that. Now, the Prophet Muhammad of Arabia of near 1400 years ago, he died on June 8th, 632. Now, in the book Our Savior Has Arrived, we are told that the judgment will begin 1380 years after Prophet Muhammad died. Well, if we add the years 1380 to the year 632, we arrive again at the year 2012. And we are told from this book that the judgment will not go over 20 years. Well, that will put us at a period between 2012 and 2032, which just so happened to correspond to the eye of God that appears on the back of the American dollar bill. The symbol on the back of the American dollar bill with the all-seeing eye of God indicates that the judgment of America will occur between the years 2012 and 2032.